What's up, friends? Welcome back to Rooted Wisconsin, where we are dedicated to authentically sharing the stories of the people who drive Wisconsin culture. We'll start our episode off the same way we do everyone, by thanking you. Thank you for your likes, shares, subscribes, follows, everything you do that engages with our content. We appreciate you, make it for you, and hope you keep receiving us well. So thank you for being out there. Shout out to our friends at Riverside Pizzeria, sponsor of Rooted Wisconsin, best pizza in Wisconsin. And check out the Sunday Supreme. We haven't talked about the Sunday Supreme yet. It's like $3 off Supremes on Sunday. One of my favorites. Got to get the pepperoncinis. We talk about that a lot. So Ryan and the great folks at Riverside are awesome. Stop in and see them in Ashwaubenon. We're live from the Discover Green Bay studios today. Thanks to them for the studio space as well. And our friends at Wondersign for some awesome Rooted Wisconsin materials that you can have. Just reach out and just ask. It doesn't even have to be kindly. You can have some. So appreciate them as well. Wondersign in Green Bay. Got that out of the way. Let's get to our next episode. And Matt Ramage coming in. Thanks for coming in, Matt.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm pumped to have you on the show, man. You built quite a brand.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, look at you. Your setup is a lot nicer than mine.
And we were talking about that a little bit. I think that's the great thing about what social media and access to technology has done for us, right? Like, it doesn't, you said earlier, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to connect with people. And you're doing that.
Yeah. And like right now, anybody can do it.
Yep.
Cause like, I'm an idiot. Like, and I'm like, when I first started doing my podcast stuff, I was like using my wife's phone to record. And then I had my phone on speaker, like at Tom Crabtree's, one of my earlier guests. And then I had a mic that was just pressed down at the speakerphone, and I was asking stupid questions. And the video, I didn't even have video good enough to even post. But now anyone, you get StreamYard, you get whatever, you get a decent camera on Amazon, and like anyone can do it.
Yeah. That's one thing that's a great place to start. I was going to ask you that today. You've had some really high profile Packers on throughout the years. How did you start that? Like, how'd you get the first one on?
Dude, that's actually so lucky. Because I had a Packer meme page, so like a few players followed me or whatever. And then when I started doing the videos, like players just followed me. And then when I had started doing a podcast, my buddy, the Green Bay guy, actually the one that got me into, like, he told me, you should do a podcast. And then I did it, and then I just asked. I think Crabtree was the first, because I had my first podcast, and then I quit it because I was like, man, I'm horrible. It was mostly just Tom Crabtree. And like he thought I had other guests, like, hey, want to come on my podcast? And he's like, sure. And then like I wouldn't have, like, no one else wanted to do it. And then
so you just kept having him on.
Yeah. And I was trying to do solo, but talking to yourself is so hard.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't really good at it. And then I kind of got like, I'm not good at this. I'm just gonna stop it.
Okay.
And then another offseason, I was like, no, I'm gonna go again. And then I asked Haha Clan Dix, and he said yeah. And like he came to my house. And he, and this was after he got traded. And because we were about to meet just as he got traded, like in person.
Okay.
And he was always super cool. We used to do that. He made a video of talking to a cleat.
Okay.
So then I made a video with the cleat, and I kind of edited them together, and I made jokes with my eyes about him, And then he started reposting them. So then that's how it kind of started our relationship. And then he said he would do my podcast. He came to my house. Like, it was like a huge deal. It was my first episode. And then, but after that episode, like, other players were like, if he's cool with you, then you're cool with,
Mm-hmm.
He was like, so he helped a lot. Like, a lot of players, because like, I don't think that all players, they have to trust that you're not going to ask stupid questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people might, especially in sports, could get a player on, then just ask them off the wall questions, try to get a clickbait,
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. But from Haha coming on, and Tom Crabtree and those type of guys, then other players felt like, and they were wrong. Like, I used to say that. Like Kenny Clark, there were so many episodes, like early on, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, dude, they got to just be like, what is this guy doing? Why did I do that? What was this? But Kenny Clark has been on like 4 times, and he was on early on. Nice. I had Tim Boyle on, and is this my phone? I apologize.
That's
usually
right.
They're not
That's
on
right.
the ringer. But Tim Boyle, I had him on, and and I froze halfway through. It wasn't
like
live
locked
back
up,
then.
didn't have any questions or something.
Like my brain just shut off because I had a list of questions, but sometimes you fly through them a lot faster. Now I really don't do lists of questions. If I have guests, I have certain things if I want to remember, but I try not to do like a scripted,
Yeah.
list, because then, but early on, if you don't, you get nervous. And then it was like 45 seconds for us. I was like, I can't think of anything. And then I was like, do you have any ideas? And then he started talking, then it like came back to me. I was like, oh, okay. And like, it was just like my brain totally cleared out. Cause like the thing of it, like that's hard. It's not about interviewing people, is that interviewing people who it gets interviewed all the time because they know a good interviewer. Right. So then if you suck, I feel like almost in my head, I'm thinking, they regret this.
They're wishing they are not here.
Yeah, they're like, why did I agree? No, but I don't think normally that's the case. But like, I've had some bad ones, but I don't know. It's fun, so like, you just keep going.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. So I've started following your content within the past year, I'd say. So it started with a meme page.
Yeah, my son was actually on Instagram. He did edits. The Packer pages.
Okay.
And he was one of those pages. So then I made a meme page at that same time, kind of just like to something to talk to him about,
Yeah.
And then the meme page did well. It had like 30,000 followers or whatever. But it got boring. I was like, I don't want to just. And it's a lot of work to keep up with all these memes. Not that much work, but it's a little bit. But I wanted to do something more me, so I was like, I'm just gonna change it to Matt the Packer Guy, and then I'm gonna mix in my videos, because my first start on content was on Vine, and I can make my eyes do weird stuff, and I have a lazy eye. So then I would go on Vine and make these 6-second videos just making jokes about my eyes, and I had a decent following there. So then, but that died off or whatever. So then I thought, I'll mix the Packer stuff with that instead of the memes, and I post some memes too or whatever, like I still do. But I lost a ton of followers, because a lot of people are like, what is this guy doing? It was a meme page. And but then after it leveled off, and then I just kept doing it, and I slowly started to creep back up, and then people started to follow, and people started to like what I was doing. Like I've had players, I think the players really did like the eye thing. Like I remember Devontae Adams responded to one of my videos. I said, is Devontae Adams top 2 or something like that? And I had my eyes all crossed up, and I said, I don't know, I don't see very well, but I think he's pretty good. and he laughed at that, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, Devontae Adams laughed at my joke. And like, Usain Bolt follows me.
Usain Bolt does?
Yeah. And he doesn't even follow all the Packer players, but he follows me. And like, when he likes a video, because he likes a lot of the Packer, like, I post news, I post other stuff besides my other stuff. But when I post like one of my videos being a goofball, and Usain Bolt likes it, I'm like, dude, that's all. He's like the biggest person in the world. Like even Preston Smith, when I remember telling him, Usain Bolt followed me. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah.
I asked him to come on my podcast. He actually, I think he was thinking about it. I think his people were like, don't do that.
Is he even a Packer fan?
Yeah, he's a Packer fan.
He is.
Yeah, he's
interesting.
Yeah, I DM'd him once where he like responded or whatever, and we talked like super brief.
Yeah.
But yeah, he follows other Packer stuff.
Okay.
And I think he said somewhere else he's a Packer fan. I think he might have been in an interview.
Okay.
So yeah, like I think it's awesome that even that, like, he saw it. He doesn't follow all the Packer players. Like, Usain Bolt is the weirdest one. They should do studies on why he follows me.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those ones like that. It's strange to know that person knows you exist.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a weird.
And
feeling.
then he liked it, like especially like when it's like a stupidest video. And I used to think about that early on. I was like, if I post this like dumb video, will like the players not like it or whatever? But then I was just like, I can't think about that, and I would just post, because some of my stuff is just stupid. Especially like the Bears stuff. I love going after Bear fans, though.
Oh, it's the best.
It's so fun, especially when they're like normal and not like try to get all crazy about it. Because like, I ain't trying to like get crazy. But some of the Bear fans, like I've got messages, but
oh, I bet.
Like this, that I just posted a video the other day about the Bears. It was from a podcast clip talking about Caleb Williams or whatever, and they got heated on Instagram, and I just love it. And they don't even realize it. They're like, "Bro, we're coming for you now, bro." I'm like, "Calm, dude. I need some engagement. Instagram is weak."
That's so funny. Isn't that one of your things? Don't you have like a piece of, is it a shirt that says the Bears still suck that you sell, right?
Yeah, in my shop. That was the first thing I started when I started doing the Packers stuff, like video wise, like that actually hit. Is I made a video and I said, I forgot even what I said. I think I said, "Oh, I gotta tell you guys something." and whatever. I'm trying to make it seem like I was going to say something serious. And then I said, the Bears still suck. And then I danced around my house in a circle. And then I put Bears Still Suck song over it.
Okay.
So then it would like, and then it kind of became a thing. Everyone liked it. So I started making different ones. I did one in front of Lambeau Field.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think the coaches might have seen me do one in front of Lambeau Field because I did one day in front of Lambeau Field. And after I was done dancing around, because when I'm doing it, there's no music playing. I'm just dancing with my phone like an idiot. And then after I was done, I seen a group of people coming. So then I kind of like moved out of the way because I felt embarrassed. And I was like, I think this is the coaches. I think that's Matt LaFleur. I was like, just imagine them coming back from practice and then seeing this goofball dance in a circle. 40-year-old dude.
Too bad you couldn't get him in the shot,
Yeah. You guys want to be in my video?
Usain Bolt follows me.
Dude,
why wouldn't you want to?
That the Bears Still Suck videos though, like they're the biggest ones. I think because like negativity sells.
Yeah, I know.
It does, and I'm not super negative. Like I don't like do it. Like I've never like bash a fan and be like, personal attacks or whatever. Even players. Like, I'll laugh at an interception or whatever, but I never go on rants like, I hate this guy, but, I'm never, it's not really my thing. But I will laugh. Like, I was live streaming the Bears game this last weekend, and I was so happy the first half. I was making jokes, laughing at him. In the end, dude, it was brutal. I wanted to just turn off my computer. It was so brutal. I don't know if I'll do it again.
You could probably think of some great memes though with Caleb's final stat line and then being all pumped up about the win.
Yep.
Like there's some great meme material in there.
There is, dude. I think it's great. 93. That was the point of that video. Is like I was like 93 yards, and he's like, "Look at the scoreboard."
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that.
I know.
I mean, I could be happy with the win, but like I think I would just kind of chill out and be like, "All right, good win." I mean, because a win's a win.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's got a strong personality, it seems like, and that's cool. I dig it. He's a Bear, so I'm never ever gonna root for him. But yeah, it's a wild thing. So okay, so it started with a meme page. When you transition to different type of content, you said you dropped some followers right away. But what was your like even with the meme page from the beginning? You said it was more of just fun, connecting with your kid, something to do. Did you ever think it would turn into what it has?
No, I never did. Like when those memes were just like stupid. Like I didn't even expect. And actually, like how they got big on Facebook is, I didn't even look at Facebook. It would post to Instagram, and they'd automatically post to Facebook. And I had a Facebook page, just like the Instagram page, but I never looked at it. But like whenever I did, it was like my mom liked, or something. Like nobody liked it. And then one day, I think it was like 2016, I posted I believe like one of the first big posts, I posted a video of Chris Farley from Black Sheep falling down the hill. And I said Packers 2016 season be like or whatever. I think that was the year Aaron Rodgers got hurt. And it was a rough year. And then that video like went huge. And then people started following. And I didn't even really notice people were following until after like there was 50,000 people. Yeah. Like all of a sudden there was a bunch of people there, and I was like, "Oh, hey everyone."
It's crazy how it happens the first time. I remember when I was in college, with Facebook groups were still a big thing. Like you'd make a group and you could title it whatever you wanted. They still are now, but not that you can't use them the same way. But I made one that it got. I think the final tally was like 1.2 or 3 million followers. It was humongous, and it happened over the course of a day, 2 days. And then I had never done anything like that before, and the mistake I made is I didn't make a bunch of people admins, and it got taken down for a bunch of people commenting hate speech. Yeah, just randomly, a bunch of trolls online.
That'll happen.
Yeah, so I lost it, and but that speaks to the fact of you don't know how to plan for that, prep for it. Like it just happens out of nowhere.
Like on Vine, the first piece of viral thing I've ever done, I was on Vine and just making stupid videos in my car, like trying to whatever, trying to be funny. And nobody really, I had some likes, whatever. But then one day I worked third shift and I had an idea for a video, and I never really did a video like that before. And I was like, I'm just going to record my TV. And I went on YouTube and I searched, what are you looking at? And then I found a video of some guy like, what the F you looking at? And then I crossed my eyes and I was like, man, I don't even know. And then I just posted it and went to bed. And it wasn't even it was just weird. And then I woke up And then my phone is like just like going off or whatever, and I'm looking at all these notifications. I go to Vine, and it said 99 plus notification. I had 70,000 like shares, and then it was like everywhere. And then it was like Facebook was posting, like Best of Vines was posting it, and like it was like viral.
Mm-hmm.
And then like my kids, like friends remember at his baseball, he's like, "Is that you, Mr. Ramage?" And I was like, "No." And like I was like embarrassed about it. I was like, "Oh, I hope no one sees it." Like, but I didn't want to delete it because I was like, I think it's awesome. But also like I felt weird about it.
Yeah.
Because the way, I make the jokes or whatever. But like now I don't obviously feel that way anymore. But then I did. But that was the first time that like I really had a video like pop off. That's a cool feeling. That's addictive.
It is. I was going to ask you about that today. Yeah, because that, I think a lot of people that post, like, you can get caught up in looking at the analytics a lot and your numbers, and then start tying like, oh, this one stunk or this one was great, and it is an addictive feeling. Has that like, has that changed your life in any way, like how you operate, or like how do you manage that, I guess is the better question.
Like, it's different because like football content, like Packers content, isn't gonna go viral. Like it probably not. I mean, not mine.
It's for your followers.
Some people, yeah. It's basically because that niche is just people who are like Packer fans or football fans might watch your stuff. But if you make a video, like if I make a video like on TikTok, like I have videos with like 5 million views, and just the stupidest video because my eyes are crossed and I make a stupid joke. Those can go viral because those are the things you're like people see and they're like, I want to show my friend this, so they share it to everyone. So like I don't expect football content to go viral. I feel like I'm good enough at talking about football for that to happen. But like the eye videos, you never know. And like I could post on TikTok and it could get 115 likes, or I don't get the huge views lately because I don't really make the eye videos all the time because I kind of run out of ideas. How many ways can you like make a joke about your eyes?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that concept just fits so well into what virality is on social media, because like immediately it catches their interest or their attention. And then, like you said, if you can follow that up with something that even makes them giggle or whatever, as soon as a couple share, the rocket's off and you're going. That's interesting. So is football, like, is that a point of passion for you then? Is that kind of why you make football content?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a Packer fan my whole life, and and like it just happened. Like I never really thought. Like I remember watching like Cheesehead TV, right?
Yeah,
you know them. They like back in the day watching them do podcasts, and I was like, that's crazy that like just football fans can do that. And back then, not everyone could do it because it was like
way expensive
technology
time,
and all that. Yeah. But I just thought it was cool. Like these are just real Packer fans just doing it. And it seemed like a dungeon because they had that little room with all the Packer stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
And then but I never thought like, oh, I want to do that someday. I never had a thought of it. And then it kind of just slowly with the memes, and then like I could do a podcast. And then I was like, I should do live streams. And I seen Tom Grassi doing it, and like she said TV does, and I was like, maybe I can do that. And then the live streams are actually more fun because there's the interaction with the comment section. You put the chats up, and like for game streams, I have people watch the game, and they comment, and then I just put on the screen. It's like you're just talking to people nonstop. Live is really a lot more fun.
Yeah, I bet that's a blast. Like on average, what do you get for a Packer live stream? How many?
I think that it actually popped up this year. Like I think Twitter helps. It seems like since like Elon bought at that time, like I don't know if they're pushing out more live streams or whatever. It feels like more people watch on Twitter.
Is that where you stream on X?
No, I stream on everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X.
Okay.
And from like I use StreamYard, it puts it everywhere. Most people watch on Facebook, and it seems like X lately. YouTube, not as many people watch for me. There's a lot of options over there, but people should subscribe on YouTube.
I'm working both of us.
I'm working on it, but like, I think my top one I had like 1,400 people watching. That wasn't for a game. That was for a regular podcast, I believe. It might have been the post. I forget when that was. But for a game, I think I had like 600.
Okay.
All at one time. I'm not quite Tom Grassi, but we have fun.
Well, that's awesome, man. Like that even at that number, you're getting great interaction where you can, you can talk with people the whole game, and you have something, like you said, talking to yourself's kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So if they can keep you rolling.
Yeah. If it wasn't for a chat, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like I wouldn't want to do it. It wouldn't just yelling at my camera to myself. But like with people always commenting, and a lot of times it's the same people, and that's the thing. Like it's like a community. Like you hear that word a lot when you talk about social media, but it really is, because it's always like a lot of the same people, and then other people sprinkle in, and like Grassy Posse, like that community he had built is just stupid. Like it's so huge, it's so awesome. I don't quite have that, but I think that's the key, and not just so you can get a bunch of followers, but like he does like good stuff. For Children's Hospital, and like there's so much you can do like when you do it the right way.
Yeah, well, when you grow that platform, it's influencers thrown around a lot these days, but you do like you grow that platform that you can influence change that you decide is important. That's a cool thing, man.
Yeah, like I do. What I started doing is like people started asked me to do cameos, not a ton, but I do a few here and there. It's like $10. So then I just started, I feel weird about taking money for making a video for someone. Okay. Especially like someone like asked me like, her kid was sick. I was like, I think that person, I feel weird taking money for that. So I'm giving it all to charity. I'm getting to like suicide awareness. It's not like it's a lot, because I don't do a ton of them. Yeah. But like anything that you can do. Like the more I grow, the more I'll try to like find different causes to do stuff. Like people like Grassi, like I think he just like inspires like people to like really use it for a good cause, not just trolling Bear fans,
Yeah, right. Yeah. I want to go back to that feeling you talked about a minute ago. The first time you went viral, you said it was kind of an uncomfortable thing for you. I think it is for a lot of people. So I used to work in radio for a long time, and I trained a lot of people, and a resounding thing that happens every single time is that it never fails. A person says, I hate listening to my own voice, you know? And it's videos the same, like you hate looking at yourself. Everybody does. So is kind of a two-parted question. One, is that why you went to memes? Because you could be more behind the curtain. And two, how did you eventually get over that?
No, I don't think I did memes just for that. Cause like as soon as I did videos before that, like with the eye jokes, before the memes. So like I wasn't like afraid of like put myself out there, but then because it's one thing to like do it on the internet, and then when you go to work and people are talking about it, like that's kind of uncomfortable. Like even now today, like people at my work, they all know like what I do. Like people, the Packers lose.
How could they not?
I come to work and they'll talk about it, or if I make a stupid video, certain people will say, especially like TikTok, because some people, TikTok, I think the way the algorithm works, it shows like your area, videos in your area. So like I would get people at work will like see like the eye videos, and the eye videos are the ones that I'm always like weird about, but not as much anymore, but because they're so goofy, they're so stupid. You know what I mean? Like the Packer stuff, interviewing like a Preston Smith, like that's cool. I'm proud of that. Like that's a cool thing to have happen. But like the eye videos is like just like stupidest thing that I could think of, and then it kind of blows up. But they're more fun. I think having someone comment that you're funny is better than like the Packers content.
Okay.
Because like the Packers content is just kind of like me in my basement just talking about football. It's not like, not doing anything major. Not that I'm doing anything major, but like making someone laugh is cool.
Okay. So that's awesome, man. That's a really, I don't think a lot of people think about it like that. That's awesome. So, I mean, I think that really points to like, if that's where you get your satisfaction out of making your content, like that's why your authenticity shines through, because if that's what's important to you, truly in it just for the people, man. I mean,
and like with the Packers content, I can kind of still do the same thing, because like I try to be silly and try not to be like take it too serious. For like because there's people who do it for a living, so they're really good at it. So if people want to watch that and get information, I feel like they can go to them. But if they want like a fan perspective, like even the people I bring on, like Ryan Schlipp and like Jimmy Christensen, he's with me this season. Like those guys are guys who are really like they know stuff, but they're also fun. That's what I want it to be like. Yeah, just like if you were just in your house talking about the Packers.
Well, similar to the reason that I started this podcast, actually, because I think my view on it or perspective is we're in a place that a lot of that content, like the pros, the journalism pros interviewing the Packer pros, it's like all that's canned content, you know. They're looking for maybe a headline that they can write to play on the negative, like you were talking about earlier. But for the most part, it's like they each have a script and they read it, and we see right through it, man. Like, no, I don't watch the post games anymore. Like, you know, that to me doesn't interest me. But thinking about like a day in the life of Preston Smith, that does interest me. Like, that sounds super fun, man. Just seeing who the guy is, you know?
That's one thing I think is funny is, like, I always say I'm the only person to ever interview like players like drinking. Like, I'll be like half buzzed up. Like, I did Preston Smith podcast because it really calmed me down. And that Tom Crabtree, I blame for that, because I get really nervous for like podcasts, even if it's not like a player. It's not just that. It's just even if I have a friend on, because I just feel like people, like, I don't want to suck. Right. And I'm not like overly confident guy or whatever when it comes to especially that. But with the player, it's even more because, like I say, like if you're interviewing someone who gets interviewed all the time, like I always feel like they could see the trash. They'll know right away. Like you could fake out, you know, your aunt who's watching on Facebook, but can't fake out the pros. But Crabtree one day was like, just have a few drinks. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right. And he's like, that's what I do sometimes, you know, and I can if I do a podcast or whatever, have a few drinks, loosen up. And then after that, I was like, yeah. And I was in sometimes maybe a few too many, but and that's like one of my lines is I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little buzzed up.
Okay.
But usually that is me. Like when I go on other people's podcasts, I say that. Sure. Like if I am, just to kind of warn them, like, hey, yeah, it might be stupid.
I mean, I think that's part of it. That it's part of it's not even a shtick, man. It's part of the appeal of it. Is that like. Whatever you do, whatever your content is, you try to build a community that resonates with you. And you know damn well there's a lot of Packer fans that resonate with you having a couple beers, talking to a Packer player. Yeah. Like they all wish they were doing that same thing.
That's what I always think. Like when I get nervous, I get like, it's like you shouldn't be because like you get to do this. Yeah. You get to talk to Kenny Clark or like, even like not even like the players, just like some of the cool, you know, people that I've met, like either like reporter like Wes Hodgkowitz, who I think is like my favorite reporter. Like
he's
Aaron
great.
Nagler is awesome. Like there's like so many cool people that I get to meet and hang out with and become friends with just from stupid Packer stuff. And it's funny, like too, to me, like when people will tag me on Twitter, they'll ask a Packer question and they'll tag like Andy Herman, this other smart person, and then me. I'm like, dude, who do you think? I don't know. if you can get one of them to answer, you're all right. But if you want my answer, I have no idea, dude.
That's great. Wes, I just followed Wes on LinkedIn relatively recently. He's hilarious on LinkedIn. Yeah, like dude. He posts some great stuff. Letting the cat out of the bag. I'm going to ask him to be on the podcast pretty soon. I'm going to reach out to him because like I've never met him, but just seeing his like some of his writing material I've watched for quite a while, but now following him on LinkedIn, he seems like a riot.
Yeah, I've never been on LinkedIn, but yeah, he is a funny guy. Yeah. And Wes is, I'll say, like, he's probably one of the nicest dudes like ever. Like he's really funny. Like I went to the Blizzard game with him, Corey Venke, a few other guys, and Wes is running around, dude. He's just like a fan, you know. He's like you see him like on TV and doing his work, and even that is he makes fun. And I think that's kind of his thing. Mm-hmm. I've had him on mine a few times, and have you? Yeah, and he said that like I think he just wants to make it fun. Yeah, Wes is a ride. He's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him to be on soon. I'm pumped about that. You know, actually, while we're on that topic of down the road a little bit, well, how'd the fence come about, dude? Like I had Ed on the show a while back. Like I had Ed on quite some time ago. So it's awesome to see that fence come to life. Like that's sweet, man.
Dude, I don't even know. Like, well, I know after the fact, but like they just asked me. Like I had no part of it. Okay. They're like, Christy, she said, you want to be on a fence? And I was like, absolutely. I don't have no questions or nothing. Yeah, I'll be on a fence. And then I was like, I guess Charlie said no. You know what I mean? They had to go down the list a little bit. But that's basically how it happened. I think Christy knows Katie, who owns the house, that fence in the whole area or whatever, the property. And then they had this idea, and then they must have been talking about it, and then they kind of threw me in there. Like you want, and I feel like I got the best spot on the whole fence.
It's good.
It's awesome.
So not liking to watch your own videos. What's it like to see a massive picture of your head on a fence?
That I actually love. I think that fence is awesome. Like when people like take pictures of it, and like people sometimes at work, like, dude, are you on a fence? Because like they don't know, and then they just drive by and like, and it's not like there's not many people with these eyes out there.
Man, that's your journey's fascinating, man, and it seems like still now you're just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah, the thing is, I always tell people because like if like people start and like ask me like advice or whatever, dude, I say like, dude, nobody knows what they're doing. I mean, some people probably do. I don't. Like I have no plan. Like even today, I was late because I didn't have my scheduling right. My wife, we were talking about that the other day. I was like, well, I have to figure out the scheduling because I'm kind of like just doing it like I've always done it, but now it gets busier and people ask me to be on podcasts, and obviously don't want to be late for people. And but like it's I forgot what the question was. What was I rambling about?
just that now it seems like you're still just rolling.
Oh yeah, the thing is like I have an idea and I was like I'll just try it. It basically is like I don't know what I'm doing. Like no, there's no book to it. Like you can ask people advice, but you just have to just do stuff because you don't want to be just like. Because I remember I asked Andy Herman early on like for advice, and I was like I know I'm gonna do this podcast thing and the live or whatever that a lot of them guys do. And he just said, just do you. Don't try to be what I do. Not because he was like, because you can't do it like me. No. But he meant was like, do what you do because you have fun. And people like you for that. And that's the thing that when you do podcasts, sometimes you start to like get in that way where you're like trying to, not trying, but you almost on accident start to be too serious. And I just step back like, dude, calm down. I mean, like I'm serious when I talk about the Packers in certain ways, like, but you can have fun doing it at the same time. Because if I'm bored, like the audience isn't be bored. Yeah. And I bore myself. Just talking about the Packers in a serious way is boring to me. Like even listening to podcasts, I listen to a few that are just informational. But that's not really what I'm into. And that's why that's not what I make. And I couldn't if I wanted to. Like I couldn't be Andy Herman. Mm-hmm. Like he's way smarter than 3 of my lives I could be.
Yeah, he makes good stuff too. Yeah, but I mean, that's probably some of the best advice that someone making content of any kind could be. Because, well, back to the point I made earlier, like, we see right through inauthentic stuff. Like, if someone's trying to put on a show or whatever, like, I think we see through that really quickly. And, $10,000 worth of recording equipment doesn't change that for the most part,
And, like, there's already... Like, it sounds cliche. I've heard a lot of people say this before, but there's already, like, a Theo Von. There's already Andy Herman, whoever you want to say. So, like, you're going to be, if you're going to try to copy that person, you're not going to be as good. And so, like, you might as well just do your own thing. Like, try to do your own path. And, like, just do, like, I'd say the best advice for podcasting or live stream stuff is just have fun. Yeah. If you're having fun, they'll have fun. Yep. And that's why, like, I always ask AI, like, what's a fun, because this season I'm trying to do different stuff. Have more segments and have like legit type of shows and have fun questions, not just about like all serious about what's going to happen this season, and just make it different and fun. Like I have a trivia show I'm trying to get together, but like that stuff is fun.
Like trivia with guests.
Yeah, they had trivia for Cheesehead. I've done it before. My friend Kevin is a smart guy and he's got like he can write code and all that. Okay. So he created like this trivia thing, which makes it easy. I put screen share. And then everyone could see. And I had guests come on, battle each other. I might not do the guests. I think this time I'll make it more interactive with me and the audience. Because a lot of people don't want to come on because they don't want to look stupid. Because, like, if you get a question wrong, they feel like, right. I don't know all the answers. For trivia, like, I don't know everything. Yeah. Like, so, like, it doesn't make you, like, less of a fan, but I feel like some people might be a little hesitant.
Is it all, like, sports Packer trivia?
Yeah, it's, like, it's okay. Packer trivia. And, like, I'm going to add in some, like, different type of trivia, like even like maybe Tom Grassi's an answer, like different people in the Packer community. So it's not just all like Vince Lombardi and players, kind of like goofy stuff. But I want it to be more interactive with the audience. So it's like the live. He was trying to figure out like even have like a code on the screen, one of those QR codes, and then people could play at home, and then they could actually win stuff. But most people watch on their phones, so I think it might be hard. So, but either way, even if they were just commenting, I think that'd be a fun idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. And So you know that most people are on their mobile when they're taking.
Yeah, I don't think that. I assume they are. A lot of people.
I would guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people it's funny when people send me pictures, and it'll be me on their TV.
Yeah.
Like my sister watches, and she sent me a video with her daughter, watching me, and they're like, "Go Pack, go during the game." That's crazy to me that people watch me on their TV. I mean, my sister's one thing, but when other people do it,
yeah.
It's awesome. I was like That's why I was like, I might need a new camera. That's when I got a little bit better camera, and just try to get better at lighting too, because lighting is basically the biggest thing with cameras. I didn't realize that until I looked like a ghost. Because everyone's like, I need new lighting, so I just bought a bunch of lights.
Yeah.
And I was like, like you could see some of my content from a month ago. Like I had Peter Bacos, got a few guys, and that's when I started to realize it when I tried to edit these videos, and I was like, oh, next to each other, his. Good. Mine looked like I'm getting an X-ray. So then I turn all my lights off. It basically is. So then I took some lights down, and I have less lights, and then I have one of those ring lights that kind of point. It kind of makes it more clear. Like you got the real deal official.
Yeah, I wish I could do it a little bit better in here, but the room is a little bit small. So in the old studio I was telling you about before we started the show, I had 2 or 3 of those pointed in the directions I had perfectly.
Yeah.
Here it's a little worse, but I'm in the same camp, man. Like I do as good as I can, and then for me it's about this conversation.
Yeah.
Else,
well, first of all, when I first saw your content, on Instagram, I was like, that's high premiere content. That's high quality.
Nice,
it's just perfectly clear. That's the first thing I noticed. When people notice my content, that's not the first thing they notice.
That's a huge compliment, man. And I guess I really appreciate you saying that, because you're talking about some of the things that things that block your mind, or these self-conscious things that stop you.
Yeah,
that's one for me. Dan and I were working on this camera for 40 minutes today, and it's all because actually the episode that goes live the Monday after we're recording this, I recorded the entire one, and the mic was in focus and not the guest. So she's a little bit blurry, and you look at it and it's like, I'm being way too overly critical, because maybe most people probably won't even notice.
They won't notice.
But I'm sitting here obsessing over this, and you got to forget about that stuff.
Yeah, I have so many of those. Even I just had Charlie Barron's on.
I saw, yeah.
Right? So,
yep.
And it was a huge moment for me. I've been trying to get him for a long time.
Yeah.
And then right before he comes on, my tooth busts out.
Yeah,
because I had a chipped tooth from years ago, and then I was eating chicken tender, boom.
I saw your video.
So I ended up getting it fixed. Someone actually messaged me, Dr. Sebastian, shout out to him. But right after the Charlie Barron's episode, I ended it, I looked at my phone, all right, I'm going to contact this. He's like, come down, I'll fix it. But for that, I was so self-conscious during that whole thing. Didn't want to laugh. I felt whatever. And I was like, man, these clips ain't going to be good. So I was trying to edit it, so it's mostly just him in the clips. But, and even then, before then, I use a laptop. I have an Apple, and then I project it to a bigger TV so that I can look at the camera, so that it looks like I'm looking at the guests. You're not looking down on my, it's kind of rude, even though they understand what's going on. But you want to make it look good. And then that wouldn't work. So all I had was my laptop, and I was just
during the Charlie episode.
Yeah, and I worked till noon, and it started at 1, so I had no time to and it was just a bad situation. But I got through it. And what I wanted to do, because I wanted to ask Charlie the questions that most podcasters don't ask. Because usually when they come on, you can ask them you want. You like brats or burgers? All those questions that I get at Wisconsinite excited.
Yeah.
but I wanted to hear his story, because I feel like I never really heard it, and I think Charlie Barron's story is one of the best. He did it the right way. He went to school, and he learned that. That's basically what he told me. He every step of the way he just got better and learned some stuff, and he's ridiculously hilarious.
Yeah.
And does good stuff.
Yeah, he's crazy funny. We haven't crested that mountain yet. I mean, obviously, I think Charlie's on the list, man. He'd be
he's
awesome.
Tough. He's the busiest dude in Wisconsin.
Oh goodness, yeah. I mean, look at how much content he put, and now he has a whole crew working for him.
Oh yeah,
he's big time.
Yeah, and dude, I'll say about Charlie. Because I said that during the podcast, I was like, you're the go to Wisconsin. He doesn't only likes that. He's very humble. He's a good dude. I met him with Ed the Diver when they were diving in Marinette.
Yeah.
And I was there kind of did kind of watch. I wasn't trying to like get in, anyone's way, but cops and firemen were coming up and they wanted to meet Charlie. Like he went down, like he just does great stuff. He's very, nice to everyone. It's nice to see because like when you meet people, like you always hear about that. Like, you meet someone like, oh, that guy's cool. And then you meet him and it's like, oh, that guy's
he kind of sucked.
Yeah. But like, that's not like how he's for the people. He's what like content creators should like want to be.
Yeah.
I like that because even like Ed the Diver, like everyone that I meet, like it's cool that that they're nice.
Yeah.
I just think because some people aren't nice. I work with people. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't say their names, Yeah. I think what Charlie's done so well, at least through my eyes, is a lot of like the cliche like Midwest shtick stuff doesn't land for me. Because I love it here,
Yeah.
And like some of that stuff doesn't land for me, but everything he does is hilarious. He spins it the right way that it's like you can't help but laugh because it's so true.
Yeah, like the Midwest Goodbye. But the Midwest Goodbye is funny because like that's like a big part of my like podcast. Because like I'll do the whole podcast with someone and I'll be like, all right, I think that's all I got, and then we'll talk for another half hour. Like even when Charlie was on, because I was like, because it's kind of like all the things I want to talk about are done, and it's kind of like a lull. So I'm just like, all right, I'm not trying to drag this thing any longer than it has to be. So I'm like, all right, let's, we're done. But then something pops in my head and we start talking. And then sometimes it's like, this is when it actually starts because now you're just asking, like, you're just talking.
Yeah.
And that's what podcasts are good for. Like, once you get comfortable enough that you can just, like, talk, have a conversation, not, like, think about the cameras and the lights and all that stuff. Like, I think those are the best conversations.
Absolutely. Yeah. Back to the authenticity. It's funny. So our big get so far, we had Wayne Larrivee on a few weeks ago.
Awesome.
And that happened with him. Like I do the same thing. I don't take any notes or anything. Like I just come into it as a conversation. I think about some stuff I want to talk about, but half the time I don't even get there, But with him, he was on, obviously it was during training camp. He's on a really tight time schedule. Like he had X amount of minutes that we could have, and I was trying to be really respectful of that. And I was going to cut it a little bit shorter than my usual episodes are. And we got to the end and Dan and I, producer Dan and I ended up laughing afterwards because we got to that point. And I was like, I kind of started the segue to wrap up the episode, and he brought up a story, and we went for another 20 minutes. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually tried to get him on. And someone who I know knows him, and I was like, one of the reporters, and I was like, just ask him if he wants to on my podcast. And if you don't respond to me, then it's a no. I don't know, I'm not trying to pressure no one. And then he didn't, so I assume he didn't want to. Or he's a busy guy.
Super busy. Yeah. Yeah, we lucked out with that. I met him at training camp. Met him at training. Gave him my 30-second spiel.
Yeah, this is easier to convince him of, and then my like, what do you do? I do the eye thing, which is I'm the cross-eyed Packers guy. That's what my bio is. You know why I call myself the cross-eyed Packers guy is because a Vikings fan did that. They started it. That's what they call me, and Bears fans too. Like I was on Illinois radio.
Okay.
They posted. I made some videos saying the Bears suck, and like, so they posted that they played the audio and then just roasted me for like 10 minutes on the radio. It was a beautiful thing. Dude. It was funny because like I watched it, like someone sent it to me, and I was like, oh, I was watching the whole thing, and I was like 6 minutes in, and I was like, all right, that's enough of that. Like, I'm glad it happened, but I don't need to. Some of it, I was like, they're starting to hurt feelings over here.
Yeah, dude.
No, but and then the Vikings they have in Minnesota, Minneapolis. One of their big shows is there's a I forget his guy's name, but he's on Twitter, but he's like a Packer fan, but it's like a character on the Vikings radio. He's a Packer fan that sounds like hillbilly or whatever, and he was like, you guys got to get Matt Ramage, you got to follow Matt Ramage, and he just kept saying my name for like a minute on Minneapolis radio. I was like, that's awesome. They're like, it's not real, it's a character. I was like, I don't care. Someone's yelling my name on the radio in Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if those people aren't the ones that might like click follow or subscribe or whatever, it just adds to your street cred around here, man. Like,
that's what I think is crazy, like with the Packers stuff, how much it's seen. And again, I'm not like viral. I'm not like whatever blowing up the world, but like it's the fact that certain people know me and like certain people like seem like Usain Bolt, or even like the fact that Bears fans will just come flood my Instagram and
best.
just roast me. I love that. Like it's cool that because like when I first started, I looked at all these other Packers. Everyone has a Packers podcast, and they're really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, who would want to listen to me or watch me? So to even like be a part of that group of people, and that sounds so cliche and boring, but it really is cool to just be relevant enough that people include me with other good podcasters.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, that's well, going back to what you said earlier. That's why you're making it. You know, to bring some joy to other people. You know, so satisfaction comes from with being recognized. You know.
Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. Like even like especially going to Lambeau Field and like people like know who I am.
Yeah.
Like I always say, like if you like go to Lambeau Field, like I can't imagine it would be for like someone like Charlie Barons or like whatever. But like just go there and like a lot of people recognize you. So and it's not like they recognize you and they're like, oh my God, you're great. No, they're just like, hey man, how's it going? Like everyone's your friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you just walk in and then like like a lot of tailgates, people are like, hey, come, try this or whatever, and like we just hang out. Like I feel like I can meet someone in like 2 minutes. It feels like but known each other forever.
Yeah.
Like Lambeau Field is a wild place.
It is. Yeah. So you got like season tickets? Do you go to most games or?
No, I don't have
it
season
sounds
tickets.
Like you stream most of them, right?
But I stream a lot of them. And I want to stream more this year because it's fun. But I'm going to the game Sunday. But like when I go to the game, I just go to like Ticketmaster or whatever. Yeah. Just like I have a hookup for people. Here's what I do. Like I'm gonna go alone, and I have friends that I'll meet there. But I'll buy a cheap ticket up top, like the cheapest ticket I can find, and I'll never sit in a seat. I'll just go like there's standing platforms up there. It's not standing room only. It's kind of like a overlook, kind of like right where Bill Jarts does his little thing. That's one of them because they're like kind of all over. I remember because I was videoing him. He looked at me funny. He was like, "What's this guy doing?" Because I had my phone on. I'm like, "Oh, that's them. They're doing radio." And then like when they got touched, I'm like, "Oh," because he does a first down. But they have them all over, and then you can just stand there, and then like right where that spot that I have, I can the bathroom's like a 40-second walk, hardly any lines. Like rarely is there a line out the door because it's like a regular type of bathroom. And then to get a beer and all that stuff is like really close. You don't have to scoot by people. I think my days of, and like if I was in a big group with like friends, I'd just sit in the bleachers 'cause I have no problem with it. But I'd rather stay. I don't like sitting.
Yeah, yeah.
For long times, especially.
You have to experience the Lambeau bleachers once, but then you realize like it's a great experience, but your couch is really comfortable. Yeah.
Dude, I've been like in so many different places at Lambeau. Like I think there's not really a bad spot.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in the seats, like the new seats with they have beer holders and they have the whole deal. I've been behind the glass. I've never been in a suite for a game. So if anyone wants to hook that up.
Nice.
Those are expensive.
Real expensive. I got to sit in a suite for game 6 of the Bucks finals or Eastern Conference Finals. That was awesome.
Yeah,
one of the best sporting things I've ever done because in there like it was relatively close and like that atmosphere was just sick. That was one of those lucky things that just falls into your lap. Like, I probably shouldn't be here.
Dude, yeah, I've been to a few Bucks games. I got tickets and like row 8. And I was like, what's happening? Like, someone would murder for these seats.
Yeah, oh, goodness. Front row NBA is like no other sport that you'll do. Like, those first few rows are, any of them, but you're so close. They're such freaks, It always blows my mind when you meet football players. Like, football has always been my favorite sport. So, those are like the Mount Rushmore for me, you know? Like, I love football players. And then you meet them, and then they're like, they're like 2 inches taller than you, and most of them aren't like, unless you're Preston Smith or somebody.
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
some of them that I met that are giants.
Yeah, but like you meet them, and it's like, it's a mindset thing more than anything. NBA players, they're built differently.
Yeah, you can. You gotta look up.
Like they're athletic freaks.
Yeah, you talk to Giannis too long, you're gonna leave with a sprained neck.
Yeah. We actually had it'll come out before this one does, but we had Jarts on a while back. The funny thing about him, man, I thought it was so entertaining. So when he gets, when you're at a game and he gives it a really good one, like he really rambunctious or like a lot of energy, I guess there's a word for that. They tell him to give him a Jartsy.
Oh, really?
That's when he gives it a jartsy. I thought that was cool to learn.
Yeah. Did he mention weirdos recording them?
No, yeah, he said something about the guy that does the eye thing.
Yeah, he's like, you just kept staring at me. Like, well, no, he was looking straight. He was...
No, you want to? It was great to chat with him. Actually, our conversation with him reminds me a lot of the conversation with you. He's a very very humble person. He talked about getting voted onto the board of directors or whatever, and he was like, he had that imposter syndrome or imposter feeling when he was in there, because he's like, these are all business owners, like very wealthy people, and he, like, his words were just like, I just read off a teleprompter, that's all I do. So our conversation, the theme was pretty similar. He's a super nice dude.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like, I remember when like Preston Smith brought me to practice to watch with the families.
Yeah,
I remember being in there and just be like, dude, I do not belong in here.
Yeah.
And like, the security thought the same, because they came up to me and like, who are you?
Where's your pass, man?
They're like, who are you with? And Preston Smith's his wife was there and said, he's with us. And he's like, all right. Because like Mark Murphy was like talking to it was mostly just wives and like kids that are there.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yep.
And then and he came down because it was kind of a new thing. I think they had a tent. They tried to make families more comfortable or whatever.
Yep.
So he was coming down there to say, hey, how you like it? And all the wives were like, hey, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was me.
Nice.
Security was with him, and he's like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting down, like they're right next to me. I'm just looking at him like, oh,
just super happy.
Hey, guys.
One of the days I was at training camp this year, some people that were clear, it was the first time they had been at training camp, were walking by, and a lady got real excited to see the porta potties in that area. And she was telling her family, she's like, wait a second, wait here, I gotta go. And I was like, I hate to tell you, but they're not going to let you in there. They're going to ask for some credentials or something. But man, that's cool. I want to go back to something, not to change too quickly, but I want to go back to something you said way earlier that I think was worth talking about. You said kind of when you started doing the meme thing, it was a way to connect with your son. Did it, like, is he into what you do? Did it grow into the relationship, or?
Yeah, like when it first started, like especially like even like the eye videos on Vine, like my kids were kind of like, they knew I did it, and like I would like show them the videos or whatever, but I never like outside the house we didn't like show it. So when their friends started seeing it, like on Instagram, like when I first started doing the eye thing on Instagram, and I kind of related it to the Packers then, that was after the meme thing. I was at my son's basketball game, and the other team, they recognized me. So after the game, we were like cutting through, and I could see the kids, and I was like, they were like pointing at me and stuff, and I was like, oh. And I didn't really think, well, they recognized me, because at that time it didn't happen a lot, but I kind of had a feeling that they were coming for me. And then they stopped right in front of the gym and like, hey, are you Matt Ramage? Can we have a picture? So then my wife is sitting there taking pictures, and all these kids are lining up, like 6 or 7 kids. It was a younger team, you know how they wait for the varsity team or whatever. And then all the parents were like in the gym, like, why is that happening? Like, why do these kids? So then I told my wife, like, let's get out of here. Then my people are texting me, like, why do these kids want pictures with you? And then that's kind of like people kind of realized that I was making videos.
Sure.
And like the eye videos stuff attracts the kids. Like they think it's funny or whatever because it's stupid.
Yep.
So like the Packer stuff, they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that my kid, he's like, he's not overly excited about it, but like he thinks it's cool, I think, but we don't talk about it a ton, but like his friends know what I do, like everyone. But I don't think he's like bragging about it.
Yeah. Does he still make the content? You said he was making some content.
He doesn't. He actually was really good. He had Packers art. I think he still does a little bit, but now he's got a life. He's done with school, but he has a job, and he's 23, so he's having a good time.
Nice. Yeah.
So I don't think he does it too much, but I think once in a while for fun.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I that's just yet another thing that's a cool reason to start something, and look what it's turned into.
Yeah, I think because I see my son doing it, and the Instagram was kind of like young back then, and I just thought memes are easy. Like, I mean, not really easy, but not to continue like to have them, but like I remember like that Jared Cook play. I made a meme that I made a meme that said he went to Jared. I'm convinced I'm the first person to make that line, to make that joke. Maybe besides people on TV, they might have. But I
like
made that
like
meme
the jewelry
instantly.
thing.
Yeah,
Like he
because
went to
that
Jared?
commercial was hot back then.
Oh yeah.
So the first time it popped in my head, he went to Jared, and I made that meme. And I know I'm not like it's a pretty easy thing to put together, but like I posted it like right away, and that thing took off. That was like one of the memes that like got my
nice.
Instagram kind of going.
Yeah, I wish I had that talent or skill, but I don't. Like you say, it's easy. I can't be planfully funny. Sometimes, once in a while, I think I'm funny in a like reactive scenario. But if I try to think about something funny to do, it's definitely gonna suck.
What I do for like memes now, because now it's like kind of video stuff. I will search like CapCut, it's a video or editing app, and one of them is you can find templates. So basically, it's like memes, like clips from a movie, but they put it in PNG for you, so you could put it on to stuff, and then you make backgrounds. You see like everyone on TikTok, like everyone uses this thing, but I'll just scroll through it and then try to think of ideas in my head, and then if I don't think, I just scroll, and then instead of scrolling through TikTok mindlessly or Instagram just looking at nothing, you look at that, you're still watching kind of memes, but you're trying to think of ideas, and if you like it, you just put use template, and then you start editing, trying to figure out your own thing.
Okay.
But that's basically what I do. I just kind of, I don't do a ton of memes anymore.
Yeah.
Because they are like, they're hard to think of sometimes.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's a lot of work. I think that's that's another amazing thing about Charlie is how much great content he comes up with.
That's why I asked him. I asked him because that was one of the most questions I wanted. I was like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
He said the answer he gave me, he's like, he's like, I put my phone down. I'm not looking down at the phone. He's like, when you're outside, put your phone down, be with people. When you're out, be with people. And then, you just see stuff. Like, you notice stuff. He's like, so you're at the bar, it might not even be me, someone at the other side does a funny thing, like, that could be a video. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but if you're on your phone, you don't notice those types of stuff. And I forget the exact example he gave, but he was, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, just observe. But he said, I'm always thinking about ideas. And that's kind of like when I was on Vine back in the day, that's all it was of the eye joke videos. I was always thinking about how can I make, a joke. But now I don't really think about it all the time like that. I think more ideas for like Packer stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to think of, especially during the off season, it sucks. That's rough. That was a rough off season.
Yeah, because then you just try to come up with Because in the off season, do you veer more away and kind of back to regular?
I still do the live stream stuff, but obviously it's not as much. And I feel like it's just boring because it's like you're talking about what's gonna be. Yeah. Like, the Packers this year are gonna do this, and it's like, how many times can you say that? Mm-hmm. Like, after a while, it's like, all right, we get it, dude. You think they're gonna be good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess let's talk about that a little bit. Like, now that your following has grown to a place where like you almost have to start thinking about what's next. Like, what's coming for your content? Like, what are you?
I'm not sure. Like, I think a lot more live streams because I think that's the funnest thing. I want to do 4 a week eventually.
Dang. And
then do like call-in shows and like if it was a perfect world and I could just snap my fingers and be whatever, I think I would have like a show, like a long show, like a radio show, Pat McAfee maybe style. Not like be like him because I know people have said before. I used to have a desk where I stood up. Like, you're trying to be like Pat McAfee. I'm like, dude, I just don't have a chair. Because he stands up all the time. I was in a little room in my son's old bedroom.
Now, if you're wearing a tank top, they might have had some validity.
I was like, no, but I think that style of show, like Jim Rome, but like my obviously style or whatever, but just a longer version of it where I had guests on all the time. Mm-hmm. But like that's a lot of work. Like, you have to get someone to help you, like, and I have a job, so that'd be harder. But I think like just like even like the hour ones at night, and like more live stream of games. Like, I live streamed the Bears game. Those are harder because I think the part that makes live stream fun for a Packer game is that I'm excited and I'm like, so if I'm watching like, because I was in a live stream the Jets game, I was like, dude, I really don't like care that much. Like, it's cool. It was cool to watch Rodgers or whatever, but like I'm not. It would just be me like talking, like, hey guys, this is a game. Like, the Bears game, I was kind of jacked up. Even some of that was kind of like I was trying to like because people don't want to watch a guy just be like, all right, that's a play. Yeah. But with the Packers, I do like a extra thing where I'm like 3rd and 13, Jordan Love under center, and like I try to like, because I'm not good, I'm not Wayne Larrabee, and I have the headphones on, so I'm listening to the game, so I can kind of get names of the other team. Like something that happens in the other team, I don't know the name, and they kind of know stuff quicker.
Yeah.
So then I can get reference of what's going on. Plus, it felt so weird the first time doing it, and like I couldn't hear the audio because I didn't want the mic to pick it up. So I was like, I gotta do it without audio, and then I was just like in like this dead silent room talking about the game, and I was like, this is horrible. So then I was like, I gotta get headphones. And now I realize I have a good mic, like you have good mics. Now I do, so I wouldn't even really need to. I could have just a volume on, on mics, they don't pick it up. But my old mics back in the day, it would pick up any car driving by.
Yeah,
and then not because it was so good, but it would just.
Yeah, condenser mics can be tough. That's a whole different ball game trying to use those.
Dude, I have no idea about mics. Like I have my system set up right now, and like it's an area, like it's my basement, so. When me and my wife are drinking beer, we're down there. We have TVs. Like I actually have a really sick. I have the most like homemade type of. I have like my laptop, like a 65-inch TV. Like it's all like the old TVs. I convinced my wife, we need a new TV. Like, what are we gonna do this one? I guess I'll put it in the basement. And then I have like another like 16-inch TV, but that one like one of them has like little dots on it. Like it was our old bedroom TV for years. So it's not like it's the highest quality TV. It has like little light spots, and then I have like a little. Whatever it is, 40-inch TV on the side, and then I'll use that for like red zone. But like I have all these TVs, so when we're like hanging out, drinking beer, we go down there, and I'm like, don't touch any of the equipment, don't unplug nothing. I don't know how to get it back.
Plug it back in
because I did that before. I had Aaron Nagler on, and like he's a good guest. Like I like Aaron Nagler a lot, and my mic wasn't on, so it was going off my laptop mic. So I didn't even post it as an audio on a podcast. It was just for YouTube. Because, like, nobody in their car wants to hear that. They're driving to work, and they're going to hear, like, Aaron crystal clear, and then me, like, I mean, you could hear what I'm saying, and with video, you can get by with, like, all right, the audio's not great on this one, but not if it's just the audio. I feel like if you're in your car, I would turn it off. But that was a great episode, too, so, like, it's so bad. But now I have, like, checks before everyone, like, because it used to just be, like, it's always set up, so
yeah,
it should be. Like, and I just got lazy. It's not that hard. It's StreamYard. Just check it.
Yeah, man, I'm envious of that. There's this clip that I can see in my mind that I always wish I do, and it's just something I've never like implemented. But it's a podcast I don't even know. It's a YouTube clip. I don't know their content, whatever it is. But there's a clip of the host running down their like before they start the show checklist. There's like a 30-second thing of he goes like cameras check. Mics, check. Audio levels, check. And I always want to do that. And then you saw how I set up it.
We got this guy.
Yeah. And I just never implemented. But you're exactly right, man. Absolutely. Like audio, uber important. Video. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not really like, and even like for first starting out, I don't think it's really important because like one thing I think, and even with my content, certain people who watch my content, like they don't want to be perfect. Like if I changed one day and I had to set up like yours and I had like the crystal clean and like, and I'm talking about the Packers the way I do, like I couldn't do it. Like they want that basement. You want someone screaming out the Packers to be like in a basement, not all like polished and I mean, like you said about authentic. It's not even like authentic. It wouldn't be me. Mm-hmm. But I do think I love that like Theo Vaughn. I think is like hilarious. I love his podcast and. Like he, his setup is like really cool. But like when you do like comedy or like this type of podcast, you're just interviewing, you're talking to people. It's good. But like if you're just being an idiot in your basement, you might as well. Like I do have the green screen down there. I got some stuff because I got some different type of content I'm gonna make this year. But it's just totally a basement. Like there was cobwebs. Like 6 months ago, there was a refrigerator where my TV is. Because I was kind of just using the area for storage. Yeah. So then we just cleaned it out. And because upstairs I was so secluded. Like it was smaller than this room. Or about maybe this room. And my son's bedroom. And it was just so, you couldn't really add on to it. Yeah. So I wanted it to be able to have a couch. And it's funny because I got a futon. I'm like, I'm going to have a really nice couch. I bought a futon, the same futon I have upstairs. Nice. It was because my son had one. It was a piece of crap. And I was like, now I got two of these crappy things. Then my wife's like, we should buy another couch and we can put this couch in the basement. And she likes to buy a couch. That's all she wants.
She's doing the TV trick on you, dude. Yeah, she knows how it works.
She's like, we can get a new couch out of this.
Yeah, she knows how it works, man. That's great. Yeah, it's I don't know, the But you're right, Theo. I mean, Theo's podcast is all. He does a really great job of like, as produced as that thing could ever get. I don't think Theo could be anybody other than Theo.
Dude, Theo Vaughn is crazy because he's a goofball, right? Idiot. He has all these crazy stories, but then he'll interview like a big political person or a big money person or whatever, all types of different people who are smart, like, and he's talking to them about their thing. And he does it, I think pretty good job. Because obviously he's out of his comfort zone sometimes when he's asking the question. I couldn't do that.
It was like a couple weeks ago. I watched back to back. He had like 1 week it was Bernie Sanders, and then the next week he had Trump on.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
And he like
then he'll have like a comedian the next week talking about who knows what.
Yeah. Like a guy, the nickname the Rat King, and then he turns into this mogul, this media mogul.
That's
awesome.
what I think is awesome for
Theo.
comedians. Is comedians can be like millionaires now and not even be that successful at stand-up comedy. Yeah. That's why it's so beautiful. I remember there was like Bill Burr years ago screaming about it on a podcast. To comedians, do not give anyone a piece of your podcast, like your managers and all that, when they're coming up. Because these podcasts are going to make you rich, and they're going to want to get a piece of it. But
he forecasted it, Burr.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bill Burr was talking about it, I remember years ago. And it's so true. Like, they're all, like, look at Rogan, Theo.
Rogan got 200 million.
You could look at any comedian who's doing podcasts. They're all like Billy Lee is his name is Theo's friend and the other guy.
Bobby
best
Lee.
friend,
Yeah.
Bobby Lee. Yeah, he's funny. And then it's funny because someone asked him one day about his money. He's like, I don't even know how much money I have. Like, you have to say as a comedian. Nobody wants the comedian that makes fun of himself and like, oh yeah, he's a millionaire. Like some people, I don't care, but I get that it takes away a little bit of his funniness. Like, it looks like he just woke up in an alley.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just came across Bobby Lee does one with Andrew Santino.
Yeah, great. I like him.
Yeah. I just watched his stand-up for the first time. It sounds like you might be a stand-up fan. His stand-up is a masterclass in stand-up. Unbelievable.
I haven't really watched a ton of his stand-up, but I am a big stand-up fan. I always joke about that, like Kevin Hart. Like, I remember watching my Comedy Central, like, back in the day. Like, when I was a kid, I was glued to Comedy Central. Yeah. And all those, like, Dane Cook and all those guys who didn't get famous until I was, like, an adult, they were out there, on this little half-hour special or whatever. Yeah, I never seen his stand-up, but I did see, he did a podcast with that Bobby girl. I forget her name.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to say her.
But anyways, that was hilarious. He roasted her the whole time.
Did he really?
Yeah, nice. In a nice way, but it was funny. I think that he's a genius. I'll check out his stand up though.
It was so good. I had never watched it, and a buddy of mine, I was at his house. We went and visited, kind of like a family visit thing, and we ended up watching it. It was great. I had never taken it in. I like stand up a lot.
I think stand up's like it's so great. Like, in so many different ways. Like, even like, how now they're talking about like, oh, you can't say this, can't say that. Like, stand up is like at one spot where it's like, say whatever if you say it right. Not everyone's gonna laugh.
Right, if you say it right. And I think that's what makes it so intimidating. Yeah. Like, who does that really well is Mark Normand.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Normand, like, he goes over the line sometimes, but it's still like he does it in a way that's like so self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, it's just kind of who that guy is,
The thing with comedy, because like people, you see it on Netflix, like Instagram page, and then they'll be like, oh, where's the joke? They'll post a clip of some comedian. It's like, not every joke is for everybody. Like, there's jokes I see, like I don't like them, or they don't make me laugh, or they don't do it for me. I just scroll. Don't get mad at the comedian. Yeah. It wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
Like, not everything has to be funny for you or whatever. Like, there's some comedians I don't really care for. I don't call them out or whatever, but like, I just don't watch them, and I watch the ones I do like. Cause that's what drives me nuts about social media, is that people like, or like if someone like, it'll be a page, and like this famous person they're talking about, and they're like, oh, it can't be famous. I never heard of them. Like, yeah, you don't know every famous person in the world. There's YouTubers like that are 12 years old that are multimillionaires you never heard of.
Yeah. My wife and I were just joking yesterday. Some of my students had brought up this person's name. I can't even remember her name right now, but she's like an up-and-coming star. And my wife was like, have you ever heard of this person? And I was like, no. And then we just joked about being old.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like, the VMAs were on. I didn't watch, but I seen some of the clips, and I'm like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Man, I want to talk about one thing there, though, that you had before we wrap up. Because I think it's so valuable, and I'm really interested to hear your insight, is about those people you were just talking about. Like anytime you grow a social media presence, there's people online that spew hate for no reason. Like just people that are just ignorant. And like, have you run into that? And how do you get over that? Because like from the beginning, you were talking about having some self-conscious thoughts just being on camera. And then I know there's a lot of people that have been pushed away from posting things online because of the people that are just nasty.
Yeah, there's some nasty. These kids today, they don't play. That's what I always gotta think. When the worst stuff is probably like a 12-year-old using his mom's iPad.
Yeah.
So you can't take it too serious. And like my content, I'm either making fun of myself with my eye thing. So like if someone says, "Oh, you have goofy eyes" or whatever, I can't be like mad. I mean, I can't think of. I made him. One backup I always say is like I make fun of myself. My eyes. The only difference is my jokes are funny.
Nice.
But so I can't be. I would never take offense. Plus, like when I was a kid, like people always. My eyes were always like a thing where when I was a kid, I felt step away about it. Mm-hmm. Like if I was talking to someone, they look behind them, like not even trying to be mean, but they would like think I'm looking behind them. That would make me feel some type of way. But then as you get older, you just realize that, dude, it doesn't matter. And then if you can take it and own it, now people can't use it against you because I'm making fun of myself already. And like, and I don't care. So I'm showing you I don't care. And I really don't. And then with the Packer content, I get a lot of hate. But it's Bear fans, and I'm talking crap about their team. It's not personal.
Sure.
Even if they try to turn it that way, I don't see it. Someone's in my comments like, you're like it'll be funny like a Bears fan like, "Oh, your podcast sucks." Like, "Oh, really? You listen to my podcast?" Well, who'd listen to a Packer fans podcast? Yeah. Because I've never listened to a Bears fans podcast. But like, so I really don't take it personal. People are mean. Like, where it's rough is if someone's starting off and they make a video. And then you're like, "Oh, you suck at this. You shouldn't be making these videos. You're horrible." I get like that would, but all my hate is based on stuff I bring on myself. Mm-hmm. Like I'm doing the eye jokes, I'm trashing the Bears or whatever. Even if I'm talking about the Packers, Bear fan comes in and is like, "This guy sucks." Like I really don't care. And usually it's not about me. It's usually about, but the eye thing. Like if I say something they don't like I'm saying the Packers gonna win the division, and all they see is, "Oh, this guy's got a tweaked out eye." Mm-hmm. Like, "Oh, look at this cockeyed," with this and that. And then they could like, they're not real like savvy. Like it's always the same thing: cockeyed, inbred. Wisconsin. Everyone in Illinois thinks we're all inbred over here, even though they love to come here on vacation.
That's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. Like a perception of Illinois.
I think Illinois, yeah, it's something that they tried to like push out. Like
good try. They're just copying what people say about like West Virginia.
Yeah, it's basically the southern stuff. Like I think maybe they think Wisconsin's in the south. I don't know. They're not real bright over there.
Classic Illinois joke, if to tell you the truth. That's why it's way better upside north of the border. Yeah,
they do. I go, and I know that there's some good people in Illinois, obviously, but when I go back and forth to people, I always say, dude, you guys, you can't go to Door County in the summer. There's Illinois. There's fibs everywhere. Yeah. They're out here. Yeah. Taking up parking spots. Clogging up the hotels.
Yeah. Driving incredibly fast.
Dude, they are like big city people walk fast. That's what I noticed. That's what I learned. Like Corey Benke. I was with him for the Blizzard games, and these guys are running down the street. I'm like, what's happening? Why are we walking so fast? He's like, we're from New York. This is how New Yorkers walk. I'm like, well, we're in Green Bay, and I'm about to pull a hammy, so you need to calm down.
That's great, man. Well, it was awesome to chat with you. I appreciate you taking some time, man. It was nice to get to know a little bit about your story and a little bit more about you. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And this is, I think, the second time I had a real sit-down podcast. First one was with Green Bay, Discover Green Bay. They never asked me back. They're like, "Oh, that's enough of that." But that was like, I remember being real nervous for that. For the sit-down ones, because it's like more real. You know what I mean? Yeah. Over the video.
Yeah. Well, at least
different.
Through my eyes, you didn't. It was harder to get nervous today because.
Oh yeah, because I did forgot.
Yeah, so like at least you weren't nervous for a couple days or.
Yeah, I wasn't stressed. Because otherwise I'd have been at work all day, like thinking about stuff. I probably would have had like some stupid joke I thought of at work, all tired, and like that's gonna be awesome.
That one's gonna hit.
They're gonna laugh at that one. And then I say it, and they're like, cricket. Was that a joke? What's happening?
Oh, man. Well, again, man, appreciate it. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for having me.